Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Monday's coffee and card. Today we're going to be using the Basket of Blooms stamp set from the main catalogue, and we're going to make this card design. So this stamp set is actually one of the stamp sets that jumped out first from the new catalogue for me, so I was really excited to start playing with it, and I think you'll see it quite a bit. So to make today's card, I'm going to show you how to make a little 3D plant pot for your card. I'm a massive houseplant fan. I had a quick count up the other day and I've got 31. So I love this stamp set. So to start with today, we are going to use a Pool Party card base. So Pool Party is one of our Subtles colours. It's a really, really lovely colour. And I'm using some of the DSP from the Subtles DSP stack. So on one side you've got the writing, and on the other side you've got this lovely wood grain effect. The writing is in lots of different languages, and it says to love what we do and share what we love. So I think it's all varieties of that phrase. So this DSP comes in 6x6 sheets, and they are available in all the different colour collections. So you get a handful of different sheets, and you also got a polka dot one and like a denim effect as well, so they're really, really handy, and I'm using it today for my background. So let's get started. So I've already cut my card base for you. So this is just a standard C6 card base, which basically means it's half a sheet of A4 that's scored in the middle. Okay, so I've got a nice little book fold today. Now my DSP, we need to cut that down to size. So I'm going to cut this down so that it's 1 centimetre smaller than my card front. So I've actually written my measurements down today, look, so I don't forget. So I'm going to cut the first piece at 9.5 centimetres. So with this DSP, you just need to remember to keep your words up the right way. Okay, so I'm cutting the shorter edge, and then I'm cutting it down to 13.9 centimetres long. Okay, so that is our DSP piece that we need for our front. And then whilst I'm there, I'm going to cut my Whisper White. So the layer of Whisper White on the front is this piece here we're going to cut, and that measures 7.4 centimetres. So I'm going to cut that measurement first by 11.9 centimetres, and we need 2 of those. We need 1 for the outside and we need 1 for the inside. So 11.9, and then we've got a nice little scrap piece left over. Hi to everyone who's joining. I hope you're very well today. So this piece is going to be mounted onto our DSP, and then this piece is going to go inside. So we can actually put these 2 pieces together, and I've got a new Tombow. Aren't we pleased? Hooray! For anyone who watched last night's video, I had big glue issues. So I'm very grateful today that my delivery has arrived. Hi to everyone who's hopping on. How are you all today? So I'm just popping our DSP in the middle of our card front, and then we can put this piece on the front as well. But before we do that, I'm going to draw some lines around the edge. So this is the card that we're making today for those of you that are just hopping on. So I'll put that just there. So these lines, I'm just drawing around the edge, and I want to draw 2 lines just to get a little bit of a more detail. Okay. I'm going to do this to the piece on the front and on the piece that's going inside. Just checking that it's the right side. It looked a bit smaller for some reason. So there we have 1, and then the piece for the inside is going to have the same detail as well. So this stamp set doesn't actually have any sentiments with it, so I'm using sentiments from different sets. Okay, so we have our piece for the inside, so we can stick this down. Like so. Hi Baz, thank you for my beautiful card. I received it this morning. Lovely, lovely surprise. And then this piece is going on the front again in the middle. Okay. So this card, oh, I'm using Pool Party as my background, but it would look lovely in any colour. Okay, so there we have the start of our card. Now we can start building our plant pot. So what I've got here is I've got some scraps of Whisper White. I hope they're big enough. I'll find out in a minute. Right, and then this is the stamp set we're using. So I'm going to need my little flower pot, which is here. So I'm just taking these out. This is a photopolymer stamp set, which means that the stamps are nice and clear. And then I'm using this leaf like so. Now, these, I usually stamp in black, but I'm actually going to stamp in different colours. So for the leaves, I'm going to stamp in Old Olive, and for the plant pot, I'm going to stamp in Basic Grey. So let's just do some of these here. See if oh no, I've stamped, oh dear, that's grey. 2 seconds, I've used the wrong colour. Let's just clean that off. Well, it could be worse, it could be a glue malfunction, like last night. Oh dear, girls, what's going on with me today? Right, just cleaned my stamp. That was a stamp scrub for those of you that aren't sure what that was. Right, now we're going to do the plant pot in grey. So I'm just using scraps of Whisper White for this. And I want some leaves in Old Olive. Got the right ink this time. Will that fit on there? Yeah, it will. So we'll have one leaf there. And then we'll have another on this piece of scrap. And I just need to get one more stamp out of the box. So you'll see that this little plant pot has got a little ribbon around it, which is another image from our stamp set. So just pop that out. Pop that on a block. Where is our plant pot? Here he is. So I am going to stamp this so that this, most of the line is on the lip of our plant pot, like so. Okay, it's a really cute little stamp set. It's nice and detailed. And now we can colour in. So I've got some Granny Apple Green for our green leaves, and I've got some Smoky Slate for our plant pot. So I'm going to start with the darker one, and you'll see that there's already some kind of shading details here. So with my dark one, I'm just going to follow this round. And this is all about just layering on your colour until you are happy with what you have. Okay, so I'm doing it like so, and then just add in a bit more dark to bring in that shading. And then now I'm going to go over all of it with our colour lifter. So the colour lifter just helps to blend everything together. This is probably my most used stamping blend, and I want it to look as if the lightest part is here, so that's why I've left that white. And you'll see that the grey just kind of pulls in. So once that dries, it will look nice. And then now for our leaves, we're going to colour them in with Granny Apple Green. So for these, I'm starting with the light and I'm using the fine edge rather than the felt tip. Hello to you, Mum. My mum has just joined. Hope you're okay this morning. Just adding this bit of colour to start with. So this Granny Apple Green is actually really quite light, this lighter shade. So what I'll do is I'll just add in a bit more depth of colour with the light, darker one. And then go over with my colour lifter. And then repeat on number 2. It's a nice bit of colouring for today. Not quite sure what the weather's up to today. I haven't put the washing out because I keep looking like it wants to rain. I've got 2 weather apps. One of them says it might rain, and the other one says it's not going to rain. So I haven't bothered. Okay, so I've done my light, and now I'm just going over with some dark. Like so. So we have our leaves. All fine here. Just finished the ironing. Oh, that sounds like a horrible job. I hate the ironing. So let's cut out our images. So this, I'm just going around the edge of my images, leaving a little white border. And then we can get ready to attach them onto our card front. That's our little plant pot, and you'll notice my little plant pot, he's kind of curved. So to do that, all I'm doing is I'm just rolling my pen underneath it so that it looks as though it's curved. It's a nice little trick when you're adding things like that on. It makes them look more realistic. So now our little leaves, we're going to cut around. Chores all done, so may go shopping. Oh, nice. What sort of shopping, Mum? Food shopping or other shopping? Okay, so I'm just cutting down in between the leaves. Gina's put nest trick. Is that with the plant pot? Oh, online. Okay, that's good. Phew. I'm glad you said online. I was a bit worried that you'd be going out then, Mum. It's a nice little bit of fussy cutting. Hi to Bev, you've just joined. I hope you're all right today. Oh, neat trick with a flower pot. Yes, thank you. It's quite handy, that little one. I think it just, with curved things, it just makes them look a bit more realistic. And it's really simple. Oh, dog walking, lovely. Okay, so there we have leaf number 1. And then leaf number 2, we'll just repeat. I think this is one of those stamp sets in the catalogue that it's really easy to miss, but it's quite lovely and really, really effective. It also coordinates with a punch. which is a punch that we had during celebration. It's called the Small Bloom Punch, and it coordinates with these two flowers here. So I haven't actually used it on this card, but I'm sure you'll see me use it in the future. Over there. Nearly there with our fussy cutting. So I mentioned at the beginning of this that I'm a huge lover of houseplants. I had a little tally at last week and we've got 31 lovely little houseplants, so for me to look after. So I like this set. Right, so we're nearly there. Okay, so there we have our 2 leaves, and now we can start building our frame, our image. So these are, in theory, are just going to get tucked behind like so. So to start with, I'm actually going to stick on my plant pot. So all I'm doing, I want to keep this little bit of raised middle section and keep that domed look. So I'm adding my dimensionals just in the middle, and then I'm popping him about there. See? So you've got that nice little domed effect. And then now when you slide these in, they're not going to fit. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to chop off some of this bottom. Okay. And then to stick it down, oh, he slid under the dimensional. So now we can just add some Tombow. A Tombow that actually works. Who'd have thought it? So people are just talking about their orders. So us demonstrators, we've been able to order from the Christmas catalogue. Pre-order, should I say. So some orders were started arriving today, which is very exciting. But others look like they are still picking. So I hope it gets shipped soon to you. So there we have our little fern looking plant pot. Really pleased with that. And now we can add in our sentiment. So I'm doing this as a get well soon card. I think it's a really nice image to use for a get well soon. People tend to send flowers and plants and things, so I'm just using some more scrap white. Now this sentiment comes from the Blossoms in Bloom set, and I'm going to stamp this in basic grey. Let's stamp it along the bottom of here. So all I'm doing for this is I'm lining it up with the bottom edge of that piece of card. Didn't stamp very well that. Let's try this way. Lining it up with the bottom edge of that card. That's better. And then we get that nice straight edge. And then I want to stick this to my card as individual tiles. So all I'm doing is I'm trimming it along, and then cutting each word out into an individual tile. Just trimming down the bottom. Get well soon. And then we have the word friend, which comes from the Well Said stamp set, which is super handy, and I'm stamping that in Highland Heather. So a nice bit of purple. And I'm going to do the same. I want to create a word tile, so you can just use a little bit of scrap. And again, just trim this round, leaving a little white border, like so. And now we can put this all together. So these are going down flat. So we want to put get there. And this is just a bit, oh no, that's fine. I thought it looked like it had a bit more, too much white around the edge, but it's my eyes. Oh, no worries, Sue. Thank you for joining us. So get well soon. And then the last one is friend. Okay, so I'm actually going to pop that on with a dimensional, so it's a little bit raised. So just cut one in half so that fills the space. Friend. Okay. So there we have our finished card for you today. So we've used some DSP in the background. DSP stands for Designer Series paper. This paper comes from the Subtles stack of DSP, so it's really handy to have in your kit. It's onto a Pool Party card base as well, so the two colours are the same. I've got a piece of Whisper White that measures 7.4 by 11.9 centimetres. I've gone round it and added a little black line, and then we have our plant pot that's been stamped, coloured in with some stamping blends in Smoky Slate, and then cut out. To make that dome shaped, all I've done is I've just used my pen to curl the edges, and then he's got a couple of dimensional stuck behind. The leaves have been stamped in Old Olive and coloured in with Granny Apple Green stamping blends, and then I've stuck them all back on, and then we've got some sentiments here that have been cut down into individual word tiles, and then inside we have the same size piece of white again with that hand drawn line. So that is my card for you today. There's lots of other stamps that you can create a similar sort of effect with, so please, feel free to have a go. If you've got any questions, drop me an email or a Facebook message, or leave me a comment. All the information will be on my blog by the end of the day, with all the links to the products in my online store. If you did want to place an order, you can do that 24/7. Please use the Hostess code for this month, which is at the top of this post. My free gift for July is a stamp set, which is really exciting. So I'm looking forward to sending lots of those out next month. Have a great day. I hope you enjoy the rest of your Monday. I will be back here live at 8:30 on Wednesday evening. No idea what I'm doing yet, but watch this space. And I hope you have a great week. So see you all very soon. Take care. Bye bye.